First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for coming here today to help support us in something that we set out to achieve 11 weeks ago. I also want to take a moment to thank all of the instructors for helping us every step of the way. It's because of them that we are here today, because they pushed us to and past our limits every single day. I also want to give a special thanks to Chief Gilmore for working with us every day, no matter how many questions we asked. There couldn't have been a better person to learn from, and we wouldn't want anyone else teaching us. Thank you, Chief. These past 11 weeks were by far the hardest thing that I've ever had to do, along with my classmates. We were put into many uncomfortable situations, and each of us responded differently than the others. I will dive deeper into that one later. To be part of this program meant that some of us had to move here to Auburn. This meant that we had to leave the ones that we love at home and leave the comfort of our everyday lives. For some of us, losing that comfort meant that chilling would no longer be an option, even if we tried to make it that way. For others, losing that comfort meant that we would no longer be able to pose in front of a mirror with our shirts off and post it on Instagram. For others, losing that comfort meant losing our hair. I'm talking about the ones who just shaved it every 3 weeks because they felt like it. If there's one thing that I've learned this summer, is that our fears and our limits are in our heads. However, when you set your mind to something, there's nothing that can stop you. As I said earlier, we were put into many uncomfortable situations, and each of us responded differently to those situations. I'd like to say that recruit school brought out every single emotion in us, and there's one day in my head that stands out more than the others. It was near the end of week 5, and we had just began what was called consumption. Now, what that is basically being in very uncomfortable situations and being on air and breathing that air from your pack. The drill that we were assigned to do was a search through this maze of a trailer that is back at the training center in Opelika. It's a normal sized trailer with 3 stories, and it seems like it goes in a million different directions. It gets very, very tight, and it is pitch black in there. Being on air and carrying that extra bulk in your cylinder makes it even worse. With some of us being 6'5", we didn't exactly fit, and that day, it showed. The instructors split us up into 2 groups, half the class doing one drill, and half of the class at the trailer. I was at the trailer, along with Brock. The drill was that we would have to crawl through the trailer as fast as we could, and we were sent in 15 seconds apart. After taking a million turns, and with it being pitch black, I feel like I'm completely lost. And I get to these rafters that are on the floor, and they're stacked, and you gotta crawl through them. And there are these beams above you, so it's like a little triangle. So it's like a triangular tunnel. On my stomach, I get to these rafters, and I begin to crawl through. And as my whole body's in, about 6 or 7 feet in, I begin to freak out. I start breathing uncontrollably, and I think I'm alone. I'm just like banging my pack and my shoulders against the sides, trying to get out in an attempt to go faster. And then I hear Brock. Brock was at the end of the tunnel. For those of you who don't know Brock, he is 6'5", 250 pounds, and fairly intimidating to look at. He had crawled through these rafters before me, just to find out that at the end of it was a dead end. That dead end opened up to this tiny little compartment you fall out of and you can barely move. So therefore you would have to turn around. He was freaking out. He was yelling to me that it was a dead end and that he was trapped and that he couldn't get out. I asked him to talk me through what was going on, sounding like a counselor in the middle of this tunnel, and how we could fix it. And with anger and frustration, he would yell back to me the same thing. Things like, I just climbed in this thing, I can't move, I'm stuck, I can't get out, all of that. So I just keep laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. And eventually, I thought it was hilarious. I just kept laughing. Everything he would say, I would just laugh. So eventually, Brock reached a point where he had enough. And then I hear the moment of silence, just for a second, and then I hear Brock, in a tone that sounded like he was about to cry, say, "Why are you laughing at me? It's not funny." And I'm still in the middle of this tube, and I lost it. I thought it was the funniest thing. And in that moment, I realized that I was not alone, and that everybody was uncomfortable. We just didn't all express it in the same way. We ended up getting out of the trailer, and I laughed for a good bit after. It took Brock a little bit of time, but he eventually started laughing about it. But this is just one of the moments and one of the memories that our class made, and we made memories this summer that we will never, ever forget. And I'm very proud of our class and everything that we went through, and I'm very thankful to everyone who worked with us to be where we are today. Thank you, Chief Langford, Chief Gilmore, Chief Benefield, Chief Cox, Captain Peaks, Captain Ray, Lieutenant Crowell, Lieutenant Denard, Sergeant McGinty, Sergeant Farmer, and everyone else who helped us. Thank y'all.
We have another award that's pretty special that takes into account both of those, but it also takes into the instructor evaluations. We look at things like being a team player, leadership skills, and this person was actually nominated by their peers to be the class leader the last week of class. So it's my honor to present Zachary Melton with the honor. Kelvin Malloy. Zachary Melton.
Ordinances and laws.
Ordinances and laws.
Of this city, the state, and nation.
Of this city, the state, and nation.
And to protect those.
And to protect those.
With whose safety I am charged.
With whose safety I am charged.
I will obey the orders.
I will obey the orders.
Of those appointed over me.
Of those appointed over me.
And will endeavor always.
And will endeavor always.
To be mindful of the long tradition.
To be mindful of the long tradition.
Of honorable service and willful risk.
Of honorable service and willful risk.
Of one's life to protect others.
Of one's life to protect others.
Congratulations.
Wow.
No, like I have to go, so that's what I'm thinking about.
Quickly, Mom. Get a little closer. Be prepared.
It's gonna be a squad of one.
So look over here.
Dude, we're auto's gonna be.